Hey, we're taking incoming rockets.
You'll never forget the year your son or daughter left for war.
I equated the worry to being pregnant. It's with you 24/7.
And of course I had my best friends, but they didn't understand how to talk to me about it.
It shouldn't just be written off as, oh, they're just teenage girls, they're just being drama queens.
And I said, you know, I love you more than you know, your son, Joe.
Everyone who's deployed to a combat zone knows that there are plenty of stresses and strains and tensions, and knows those are worlds away from daily life back home. But every deploying service member also leaves someone behind. And for those families and loved ones, there are also difficulties.
Also, adjust your cooking time for mini muffins to about 12 to 13 minutes.
Kaylee Deacon planned her high school course load so she'd have some cake classes her senior year.
Got it?
Or maybe that's muffin classes. That's what her advanced cooking class was baking up the day we stopped by.
Put the butter in this, right?
But she wasn't necessarily looking for an easy year. She's enlisted in the Marines and is getting herself ready for boot camp after graduation. Kaylee's from a National Guard family and has grown up wanting to wear the uniform. But when her dad deployed to Afghanistan in 2005, she was 13 and had a very tough time coping.
I had no friends that had anybody in the military. I didn't have a counselor that understood. So pretty much I had my home life here, and obviously nobody being my age in the household understood either. And of course I had my best friends, but they didn't understand how to talk to me about it.
150 plus miles further south in California's agricultural heartland, Miranda Hearn takes a college-level chemistry class.
This is going to react with ascorbic acid. It's going to be a neutralization reaction.
Okay.
She'll soon be entering the Air Force Academy as a member of the class of 2014. She, too, had a rough experience when her dad, Air National Guard Lieutenant Colonel Rick Hearn, went to Afghanistan in 2007.
I felt really, really isolated, and just progressively my self-esteem just dropped. As the school year went on, I just felt I didn't feel confident anymore, which was really rare for me because all growing up I've always been the kind of alpha female. I walked with my head down, didn't raise my hand in class, didn't really reach out. And I think that's an experience that a lot of girls go through.
Finding the sacred in the everyday, flags unfurl, a call to arms. My son enlists.
3/4 of the way across the country, a mother voices her concerns.
Roses for our beloved, blessing life's fragileness.
For mothers, deployment means they can no longer protect the child sheltered and nurtured from infancy. Janie Reinert saw her son Joe heading out of her deeply religious world in Chagrin Falls, Ohio, and into a combat zone. There was no longer any protection a mom could provide.
I think I equated the worry to being pregnant. You can never forget about being pregnant. It's with you 24/7. And that's how the worry was, 24/7. I just prayed all day long. It was always on my mind.
Sergeant Joe Reinert pulled a lot of convoy duty in Iraq as a machine gunner.
I think you have to work against being sucked into darkness of your fear and anxiety. So I tried to eat healthy, I tried to exercise.
Have a seat. Where are the girls? You get through the day. I mean, I was teaching, so you do your job, but it never kind of goes away because you know that at any minute life could change in an instant.
Mary Ann Moore's son Stan was deployed to Iraq with a Marine Mobile Assault Platoon. He told her he was just chauffeuring officers around to meetings.
I'm not naive. I didn't think he was not in any danger. I knew he was in danger, but I had no idea of the details of the day-to-day.
And she had no real support system. Stan was a Marine reservist, and there were no military families around her home in Medina, Ohio.
I wish I had been friends with another Marine mother at the time, because it's very lonely. You think you're the only one going through it.
Mary Ann and Janie decided to do something for all the mothers who'd lived through a child's deployment and for all those to come.
The teenage kids do go through a different scenario than even the younger kids. You can't lump them together. And teenagers are more influenced peer-to-peer than they are by a lot of other avenues.
There is a portion in that conference that's dedicated to young women. And these are young women that are going to make changes in the future. And that's exactly what Kaylee and Miranda are demonstrating today, because they were inspired.
Welcome to the Sisterhood of the Traveling BDUs, a conference for teenage military girls. It's the brainchild of high school seniors Miranda Hearn and Kaylee Deacon. They wanted to develop mentoring, support, and coping networks for the daughters of deployed California service members. Because, they say, girls understand girls best. And Miranda and Kaylee struggled through their own dad's deployments. The Sisterhood's motto, unite, inspire, lead.
The goal that we're trying to achieve is to have these girls be the glass ceiling crashers. We want these girls to go above and beyond what other females have already done.
We need to give military girls the empowerment and the sisterly support. They need to become stronger through deployments and become stronger through reintegration and everything that comes with being a military child, and that it shouldn't just be written off as girls and their teenage issues, because it's much more than that.
I think this is the easiest lab we've ever cooked.
Kaylee's look changes often. Sometimes she looks like a garage band rocker, but she has ballads in her heart. She was in 8th grade when her dad, National Guard Major Lauren Deacon, deployed to Afghanistan as commander of an engineer company.
Like, he's been deployed before, so I didn't know how hard it was going to be for me. But I remember when I went to school the next day, it started like really impacting me when I was thinking about really what was going to go on. And it just started getting harder when he left as the days went on, and I just didn't really want to do anything, and I was just always just kind of like bored and lonely in the household and stuff.
Kaylee's the oldest of 3 sisters and really missed her dad.
I just didn't feel like working that hard anymore. I just didn't want to do my work. It kind of dropped, and especially with having Dad here, he's really brilliant, so when I had problems with my homework, I'd go to him for it, and then I was just kind of like, if I didn't understand, I didn't want to do it.
Once his foot is in Afghanistan, a 1-year countdown begins.
Kaylee's mother struggled with the deployment too. Doreen Deacon kept a journal of the year her husband was gone.
After saying our goodbyes, we watched him leave up the escalator at the airport. Our hearts were sad. When we got into the car, we all were crying.
I know his job's important. I'm happy for what he does. I'm glad that he serves his country. I'm very proud of him, but it doesn't make it easy.
Oh, that's yours. That's mine.
I guess I didn't realize how much it had affected my oldest, because she was a lot of support for me, and I know being the child, she shouldn't be in that role, but
I felt like my sisters, when they misbehave, I felt like I'd have to say something when it's not my place to say anything at all. And I don't know, maybe because the order was gone, I felt like it had to be replaced back, and I thought it was something I had to do, when truth is, I'm not old enough, and it's not my responsibility to do it.
Kaylee entered high school while her dad was still deployed.
It just got harder because kids get meaner. Counselors, I went up to the counselor's office once because I was upset, and she told me that it wasn't that big of a problem and that I need to go back to class, and it just made it even more hard.